Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? I'm pretty sure they did, right? If not, I will pull it up. But I feel like they did.
Don't remember.
Because I feel like I complained about this last year as well. Because
I
I'm
think
not
they
a huge
did.
fan of the Monday playoff game. I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit of a disadvantage for whoever plays on Monday.
I feel like we talked about this last
Yeah,
year.
I feel like
actually.
we did.
So yeah, I think they
Yeah,
did.
it just feels like a disadvantage in regards to going to the next round. Because then now,
I'm pretty sure Dallas actually played on
yeah,
Monday.
I'm pretty sure y'all did.
And they had to play the Niners the next
Yeah, y'all
week.
played
And
the
it was
Bucks.
kind of like a
yeah,
bummer.
yeah. So
Yeah.
But just keep an eye on whoever wins this when they play, 'cause especially if they have to play. I doubt they would put them on a Saturday, but who knows? The NFL's schedule, they really don't care. I mean, we have Thursday games. But anyway, in regards to the game itself, it's on Monday. I can't change anything about it. Neither can the teams. So it's Philadelphia. They are favored here by 2.5 points going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, Philly been in a bit of a free fall recently. AJ Brown's knee banged up. I'll have to check the status of Devonta Smith because I know he missed last week. But yeah, John, who do you have here between Philly and Tampa, and for how much?
I'm going Tampa Bay. I'm putting 200 on it. Philly, I don't have faith in them. And I thought about putting a little bit of a bigger bet here, but Philly is just still such a talented team that I could maybe see them, rallying and figuring something out. But I watched a breakdown on YouTube, like a couple of like their offense recently, because I already know all I need to know about their defense. I've been harping on how I think their defense was so overrated for years. But I watched one on their offense specifically, and it was showing a lot of the stuff that like Shane Steichen had done and comparing it to what they are currently doing without Shane Steichen. And they basically just described it as like this offense looks like they took Shane Steichen's playbook and just sort of copied and pasted it, and then they're calling sort of the same stuff, but they don't really know why. And so it like basically they're saying like Shane Steichen's offense is really not that complicated. Like it's very basic. But if you know like the intention behind it and you know how to properly call it, then you can like make it work. But when you do what Sirianni in the offense is doing, and I think Brian Johnson is their offense coordinator, there's just not a lot of motion. They're not stringing plays together. Their entire run game scheme is based entirely out of the shotgun, and they are like one of the worst teams in the entire league at explosive run rate, and it's a large in part due to the fact that they are running out of the shotgun. Once again, this is not all stuff that I came up with. I watched this video about their offense, but it was showing like how I think like the 7 most explosive offenses in the league in terms of run rate, which is like the Niners, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, like teams like that. All of them are also like top 10 in terms of runs out of a formation that's under center. And because, of just how it makes the defense have to adjust. So Philly just doesn't do any of that stuff. I don't think they're going to adjust now. The only reason I'm not putting a bigger number than 200 on Tampa is just because I do think there is a talent gap between the two teams, and maybe Philly can surprise me here. But I do think that ultimately Tampa is going to win this game, and I'm putting 200 on them.
I'm with you. We've in regards to the things you mentioned, Philly's offense. It's like what I say about like some other teams. Like it's like Ask Madden. Just okay, pick this. There's no rhyme or reason. Like you're saying, there's no tying things together. Be like okay, like we've ran this run play a couple of times and they're expecting it, but now we got a twist and it's gonna screw them over and like you mentioned, lead to something explosive. So it's weird. And I just want to note too, and no offense to Brian Johnson, I've seen like apparently he's been reached out for interviews, which I thought was odd. I'm like,
yeah, I saw the Panthers reached out, and all the comments were, I guess the Panthers enjoy sucking.
Yeah, because no offense to Brian, like once again, this is his first year on the job, but you're seeing like anyway. I don't want to get into that.
He has not earned a head coaching job yet. He needs to.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Eric Bieniemy's been, he had a pretty solid. I know Washington wasn't amazing, but they're better offensively than they were in recent years, despite what they have. And
yeah,
I'm not hearing him again. So just want to throw that out there. Nonetheless, in regards to this game itself, yeah, I'm going with Tampa with you. I'm putting 400 on Tampa Bay. I think it's a bad matchup for Philly, especially because they've been so bad and I don't say bad, but simplistic schematically on both sides of the ball. We've gone over the offense and we've kind of mentioned briefly the defense too. I mean, yeah, in Tampa, like they were especially on defense. It's gonna be one of the few teams that Philly's gonna have a tough time. Just like we said, being simple, running out of shotgun on them because we know that Tampa's front seven is pretty good still. Like despite losing Tom Brady and such, the Bucs defense that was good during that time. They still are mostly there. May not be entirely as great, but they still have Vita Vea, and they got their first rounder, Kalijah Cansey, who's been solid, and their edge guys, and we know those two linebackers are studs. And Antoine Winfield's been amazing on the back end too. On top, they have some solid corners in Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean, who I think can match up well with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. Who Devonta Smith not on the practice or not on the injury report, so I'm assuming he's good. So, but regardless, I think this will be a little bit of a wake up call for Philly. I don't think now it may happen because Philly's fucking wild, but I don't think this should lead to a Nick Sirianni firing. But who knows? But I think Tampa. I think Tampa takes the upset here too. Also, offensive side of the ball, like I said, Philly's defense has not been the same, and Tampa, they are it's not always consistent, but they are aggressive in regards to getting Mike Evans open. Obviously, Baker's been a bit aggressive in getting him the ball, and then obviously getting Rashad White involved and Chris Godwin recently in the short to intermediate game. I think it's maybe tough for Philly to get stops there or get the turnovers that they were accustomed to last year. That helps springboard some other things. So,
the only part that worries me in that is maybe
Yes.
Baker Mayfield just has a bad
throws
game.
a pick.
That's the only reason.
Strip sack because he held onto the ball a little too long or tried to make a play.
Yep,
that's always
that's the part that worries me is like that Philly could get like one of those kind of plays that just puts them back in the game where maybe Tampa was in a position to pull away, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling and like everybody's getting all nervous, and then Philly maybe just capitalizes on it because once again we can't ignore it. Like this largely still the same team that went to the Super Bowl last year. It's just they have so many schematic problems that are getting exposed. But there's still talent there, so that part does worry me.
One other reason too, like last reason why I'm also confident Tampa is you mentioned Philly having that experience, but most of those guys in Tampa have that experience from going from it's rubbed off a little bit. There's gonna be rub off from having Tom Brady there and also just winning the thing, being to the playoffs the last few years too. And they did give Philly issues the past few years as well. And Todd Bowles, I'm sure he knows how to make life tough for Jalen Hurts because he's done it in the past. Now, granted, I know Jalen Hurts maybe wasn't as good, and this offense wasn't as good then, but like we mentioned, this offense has taken a step back since last year. So we could easily see another day where Todd Bowles that wraps up our